Few car brands know what to do to my heart, but none of them match to what BMW does. This right here with me today is the BMW 3 GT, the Gran Turismo, the Gran Tourer, whatever you want to call it. It's an animal, and this one is a 320D compliant diesel vehicle. All around it, it's muscular, it's butch. The entire presence is so solid. You move around anywhere with this car and you're gonna feel the sense of emphasized driving, looks, passion for cars. This is the car that you want. What you see in here is the BMW twin-power turbo-powered engine, frameless window along the door panel with your sport displays showing you the amount of power as well as the torque that's being generated by the engine. So if I simply want to move it in a sport, and it completely revs up. This panoramic sunroof that's above me, look at the size, it's massive. It just floods the cabin in with so much of light. Just that way it crosses the 100 mark. You've got your traditional BMW kidney grille out here. The slats in them don't open or close, they just simply stay just that way. You've got your adaptive BMW LED lights around here, fog lamp cluster at the bottom, wrapped up with this chrome insert in the shape of an inverted L. Butchy, dominating, aggressive. Moving along the side structure of the vehicle, what I can see out here are 18 inches, wheels that are so huge, tires that are even bigger than you'd imagine. Riding around anywhere with these is going to be hell comfortable. So that's what this car stands for, touring, isn't it? A strong shoulder line, a little bit of an indent in both the doors. That's a side structure. Around the back, L-shaped brake lamps that are fully LED, completely wrapped in it. GT's badging out here. You've got your active rear spoiler that opens up. The moment you speed up, the car senses it. Aerodynamic engineering all around it. A couple of exhausts down there that are actually real for a change. Chrome strip below it. The boot opens up automatically. Voila! The rear seats fold down in the 40-20-40 split. Just tuck this and it just simply drops down. Now the worst part about the boot is having to carry your spare wheel right outside here. You can't hatch it underneath. So despite it's got decent amount of space, it's all going to be compromised if you're going to be carrying this along. You've also got a 12-volt charging socket on this side, another hook that comes out there, some netted storage on this side, and a couple of hooks out here to stop things from moving around. To shut the boot, you simply click the button and the boot shuts down automatically. No need for me to worry. The rear glass it's got this really gliding effect due to the GT, and it's got such a strong look. That's all I can say. It just simply merges down into the vehicle seamlessly. And the boot, from this angle, if you take a look at the boot, it's almost as though there's no space inside it. But you've got all right space. Wouldn't consider it to be best at all. This is the diesel. We're all set now to just simply take a look at what's happening under the bonnet of this beast. So let's get into that. Popping up this bonnet is really simple. Flick it up that way and it's open. And what you see in here is the BMW twin-power turbo-powered engine making 190 horsepower at a whopping 400 Newton meters of torque. That's good diesel power for a vehicle of this kind. Insulation elements are wrapped around there in the corner. However, still I've noticed one thing, that the diesel engine noise and rattle does come into the vehicle. I'm all set to get into the 3 GT's cabin. And the first thing that just simply has captured my attention is this frameless window along the door panel. Just take a look at all of this. It looks just as good as I'm sitting into an open car. Lovely, lovely finishing, just top notch. Getting into the cabin, I'm totally enclosed in leather. That's the word, Dakota leather, cognac interiors, finishing that's of the next grade, next level. Anthracite wood panels that run across the cabin in the center console along the dash. Soft touch materials, I don't even need to talk about it. Why? Because it's present all around this cabin. Glove case, decent sized, half a liter bottle, couple of them. In the door panels here, A 1 litre bottle fits in comfortably. It just swerves out that way. Really fancy touch. That is the design language along this entire cabin. Everything just simply flows and glides around it, making you feel like you're just wrapped in something that's going to hold you tight. Also the storage on the driver's side hatch. Neat cubby in there. Now in the center console we've got this armrest that has alright storage. It's not much, but yeah, it's handy probably for your phone, a few wires here and there. In the center console ahead here, a couple of cup holders, a little bit of space there as well. You can just simply hatch your phone out there if you wish to. Overall, the fit and finish has to be luxurious, and it is. The visors up here, I've got mirrors that come with lights. Both the vanity mirrors on either side have lights in them. The sunroof is a panoramic one. The shade opens, it opens up here, so the people at the back, they mainly get light in through the cabin. To shut it back, I don't need to pull it back like I told you. Click on it once and the shade is making its way back automatically. And this is your 8-speed Steptronic gearbox. And it's so nifty to use. I just simply click this unlock button for it on the side here. Dink it down and we're in a drive. Shove it all the way up, I'm in a reverse. The reverse camera gives you dynamic guidelines. And then, of course, when you move in and drive, this mode is the most thrilling one in this car. But on the side, you've actually gone into this hyper sport mode, which actually gives you so much of throttle response every time you put it there. The moment you jerk it up or down is when you actually can move it into manual shifting as well. Now, bring it back from there, and I want to go in a park, I just simply have to click it once, and just like that, we're in a park. On this side, the park distance control, the PDC. We've got your drive mode selections as well as your traction controller on and off switch. Got a dual zone climatic control here on the 3GT. Neat controls. This display though, it shows white right now. It turns to orange the moment you get it in a dark light. Nice touch. Pretty simple controls to operate the fan speeds out here. You've got a temperature control on this side either way. And this is in fact part of BMW's old design and architecture inside the interiors. Now it's all been updated. But this is definitely a design that's very easy to operate even while you're behind the wheel. So the iDrive scroll wheel also serves up as a touchpad in order to zoom in or zoom out. You can also just simply type with it when you're searching for locations. Then down here you've got your media options, you've got your onboard computer, your menu, map, navigation, further options when you know anything else, as well as a simple and handy back button. So now the iDrive system, it's a 9-inch touchscreen. It's something that, despite it's a touchscreen, you don't want to touch, you don't want your fingers on it. So you simply use the click wheel right down here and you can just simply glide through the menus. Okay, so since there's a lot of glare coming on the iDrive screen, I'm going to quickly move the car into a darker environment so you'll be able to view the screen more clearly. For navigation, you've got 3D maps that show up. Zooming in, zooming out is so easy with the click wheel. Really high resolution, neat as ever. Moving into the My Vehicle, you go to Vehicle Settings, you've got your lights, there are a couple of ambient light options, not really ambient lighting, especially when you just have Luxury and Classic to choose from, so no colors in that. Getting exterior lighting, and this is a good feature, you can actually tune the number of times you want the turn indicators to blink from 3 time intervals or 1 time. That's a really detailed feature there. Quickly get out of that. So further in the My Vehicle settings, I've got technology in action. It's a crazy feature. You got your sport displays showing you the amount of power as well as the torque that's being generated by the engine. Going on music and radio, Apple CarPlay, which is wireless, is a novel feature in BMWs. Get out of that. Connectivity, I've got continuous connections for an SOS call to BMW Assistance Services. And by far, this actually is the best infotainment system that I've seen on cars till date. Nothing matches up to what BMW does with its iDrive. It also stores different driving profiles, so all my settings for my iDrive system, my seat configurations, it all syncs up here. Also now, when I select Eco Pro, I can further configure it and even set my speed tip limit for the Eco tips, that is. Get out of there, and now when you move into Sport, is when I could further configure sport mode and decide if I want a dynamic driving experience with just the drivetrain or the chassis or both together. That is some really neat detail. Look at all those graphics on the screen, it's so well shown. In the center console region here, you've got your shortcut keys, that come in really handy for whatever you want to set them to. The AC also has a max button. You get your push start and stop button, the auto start control out there. Hovering over to this side is where you get your fog lamp options, your light control, as well as the brightness settings for the cabin lighting. So I've got a 3-spoked Butchie steering wheel in the 3GT here, this being the diesel, the 320D variant, and the driver's instrument cluster. It's so neat, isn't it? It's entirely digital and yet has elements of that analog version around it. So if I simply want to move it into BMW's different driving modes, I put it in a sport and it completely reds up. That's what happens to it, including the fuel gauge as well as the coolant temperature. The entire theme changes to red. There's also Sport Plus mode out here that puts it into a mode in which the traction control just simply shuts off. Moving on to the side here is where I have my onboard computer switch to control the information that I'm getting to see down here. Anyhow, let's just simply quickly put it into Eco Pro mode, and that's when you actually see it's all gone blue. This is BMW's recommended mode for the highest amount of mileage that you want. It's all blued up. You notice that the RPM meter is gone out of the way. You can expect a +6 boost in the mileage. Move it into comfort mode and you're back with the RPM. You've got your efficient dynamics showing you the regenerated braking with the energy that's transferred to the battery the moment you don't press the accelerator. So if I immediately move into mode, which is right out here on the steering wheel, you notice that it quickly moves in and out of Apple CarPlay to the FM. Along the steering wheel on this side, I also have my voice command control button to take calls and receive them. On this side I have my speed limiter. Entering the back seat of the 3GT, and I cannot stop looking at this rimless frame. It's so beautiful. Again and again I enter this car, and again I gotta look at that. Comfort is exuberant. It's so much. Look at the legroom. It's immense. This is largely the main reason why people do prefer the 3GT ahead of the 3 Series, just because of all the space. You can just tour around grandly. Materials around here are so soft to touch. It just continues the pattern from the front. Half-liter bottle storage in the door panel here. Leather stitch upholstery. A little speaker that continues along with the 9-speaker hi-fi sound system that we have here. Got a center armrest that comes down. A couple of cup holders. They're decent size with nice little rubbers around them. Little storage here. You cannot access the boot though from here. You're gonna just simply make do with that. Push that down. Go shut. The only way to access the boot though is by dropping the center seat down, which folds into the 40-20-40 split, and that's how you can open up into the boot. Getting that out of the way, this panoramic sunroof that's above me, look at the size. It's massive. It just floods the cabin in with so much of light. The only downside in this entire seat out here at the back is this transmission tunnel. Yeah, that is probably going to thwart your dreams of carrying 3 people in the back of this car. Although there are 3 headrests here, maybe a child for a short distance would be comfortable in between you and your loved one. Here are a couple of AC vents, no climatic control. Got a 12-volt charging socket down there, some netted storage behind the seats, headroom. It's so spacious, it's so airy. Everything around this car to me is visible from this one position that I'm seated in. That's how good it is. Let's get out of here now and put this beast to the tarmac. It guzzles. The rush that it builds every time I floor that accelerator. There's 400 Newton meters of torque that I can feel under my pedal. 190 horses, yeah, you feel that too. Ground clearance on this car is so good. Now, for instance, if I just simply put this quickly into the Eco Pro mode for efficient dynamics, you notice that every time I press my brake, that unused kinetic energy gets transferred. So the battery gets assisted with this regenerative braking when you're driving in Eco Pro. There's no realistic RPM meter. Everything has been blued out for me out here. And BMW likes to term it this way just because of that incredible mileage that you're gonna get. The engine is totally smoothened out. The feedback from the steering as well gets really mild. Outside noise right now is non-present, of course, unless someone honks outside. it just tends to make you hear that. But it's such a well enclosed and acoustically glazed cabin. That's the work BMW likes to term for its windows. Bumps and all are barely felt, especially because of these 18-inch wheels. It just glides over these things. Gonna dip it into some sport mode action now. Just like that, it's in sport mode. I'm gonna just dink this gear lever on the side, the Steptronic, and I'm gonna just simply feel this rush, absolute rush. It just simply eats up the road. So I've got my sport displays that actually show the amount of torque and power that's being generated by the car while we're moving. So the moment I go in a Sport Plus mode, my traction control is off. Yeah, and you're gonna have confidence to drive it like an animal. Just that way it crosses the 100 mark, you don't realize it. Around about 8 seconds is that time. Overtaking is so easy. This is that energizing joy, that glitz and that glory that just comes out of a BMW. It's like it just breaks out of its shackles. 190 PS may not seem a lot today, but it is. It is plentiful. Zipping, zapping around, crossing speeds like they're nothing. It's so aerodynamically engineered so that you get that right kind of push and power. So a 3 is a thriller, and a 3 GT is a car that knows how to take you for thrills while on tour. Click the P, and just let the have it parked. What a drive, what a car. Sheer driving pleasure, absolutely. The 3 GT will take you on tours that you won't want to come back from. That's the feeling that I got while I was in the back of it. There was ample leg room. While I was in the driver's seat, I just didn't want to get out of it.